All right, so we're continuing in Matthew chapter 17, and they're going to start coming down on the mountain. And verse 9 says, "As they were coming down from the mountain, Jesus commanded them, saying, 'Don't tell anyone what you saw until the Son of Man has risen from the dead.'" So isn't that interesting? And that just made me think that there's proper timing for telling others the vision we have from God. So I know a lot of times you've got this temptation, just kind of it reminds me of Joseph in the Old Testament, and how as soon as he had this dream that he was going to rule over his family, he wanted to tell them, which that was definitely part of the story. I don't know if he would have been sold into slavery if he wouldn't have told his brothers that, but just be very mindful of that. If you have a dream, if you get a vision and you think it's from God, be very careful who you tell and when you tell it, because that matters. Verse 10, his disciples asked him, saying, "Then why do the scribes say that Elijah must come first?" Jesus answered them, "Elijah indeed comes first, and will restore all things. But I tell you that Elijah has come already, and they didn't recognize him, but did to him whatever they wanted to. Even so, the Son of Man will also suffer by them." Then the disciples understood that he spoke to them of John the Baptizer. So, Elijah was supposed to come before the Messiah, and it did happen that John the Baptist was a type of Elijah. But the people didn't recognize him, and they ended up killing him. And so, man, it's like just evil. Evil is the reason why people are confused in this world. And, I was thinking the other day, really humanity has one concern, and that is to differentiate between what is true and what is untrue. Whether it be theology about God, whether it be science, because man, there's so much that comes at us that's not true. Scientific studies are twisted, and then politically, there's just so much. Depends on who you listen to, whether it's right wing or left wing. So man, I believe it's evil. And Jesus talked about be careful how dark your eye is, because that lights up the whole house, or something to that effect. That man, how we see the world is so important. And so make sure you cry out to God and ask him to fix you, to see if there be any wicked way in you and lead you into the way everlasting, because there might be evil in you, and you might have blind spots that are really, really bad, and you might not see the world as it really is. So pray about that. Pray for wisdom. Pray to understand the truth. And then, proclaim that, the Spirit will lead us into all truth. So take the promises of God that lead us into knowing what is true.